Cyberpunk Edgerunners is about love. You might be saying, well, duh, but this show depicts love with tragedy, making a perfect love story. Now, this is not an unfamiliar concept. There has to be countless shows that use death to magnify the effects of love, but with this show, it does it in a very special way. Most media use death as a way for the main character to make selfish decisions, but this wasn't the case with David. David lost his mom in the very first episode, and this was a catalyst for the rest of the story, sending a young man who was already lost deeper down the rabbit hole of not knowing what to do with his life. His mother always wanted him to reach the top of Arasaka Tower, so out of love, she wanted the best for him. She made countless sacrifices just to make ends meet. Out of love, David did his best to maintain good grades, even though it was obvious that wasn't what he wanted, given that he was willing to drop out of school. But out of love for his mom, he continued to push and do his best. So, what would happen if his mother, the main motivator of his actions, was out of the picture?
Mama! Mom, wake up!
His mother was all he had, and he never had much, so David was dealing with a lot after she died. Fighting to pay the bills, grieving the loss of his mother, and trying to find his purpose in life, David gets involved with Lucy, a petty thief that tried to steal from him. But after stopping her, they decided to work together. So now David is stealing to make ends meet, but getting involved with this femme fatale will change the trajectory of his life completely. For David, it was almost love at first sight. While they never said that they loved each other throughout the entirety of the show, it was pretty obvious that David was madly in love with her from this scene alone. Now, Lucy indirectly got David into a gang of mercenaries, and from there, their love only grew stronger. And this is what I love about Edgerunners. The moments between David and Lucy don't overwhelm the main storyline. However, the moments when David and Lucy are on screen, they steal the show away, making you feel like the movie is about them. We get slow sequences where we spend time with these characters and get to understand them better, getting to see what really makes these characters, well, them. This also allows us to see how their love grows and blossom into something more magnificent as the time goes by. Episode 6 was a very important episode in my opinion. We got to see that David had no idea what he wanted for himself. And in that very same episode, we saw how much Lucy actually cared for David, because after finding the files, she literally sacrificed the entire mission so she could destroy what they had on him. And this did result in Main and Doyo dying. After finding out what they had on David, she worked tirelessly from the shadows trying to keep David safe. But on the flip side, the death of Main also led David down a path of trying to finish his mission, risking his life and mental stability so that he could keep Main's legacy alive. I believe the real tragedy of Cyberpunk Edgerunners is the fact that David went through his life fulfilling everyone else's purpose and goals instead of figuring out his own. Some could say that David's purpose was to serve others or use his life for other people's benefit, but that's not a story that I think is fitting for a main character. In the beginning, he was making his mom's dream of him going to the top a reality, but after he died, he then adopted Main's legacy, and then after that, it was to ensure that Lucy went to the moon. The entire duration of the show, David had no clear direction of what he wanted to do. The love he had for the people around him influenced his actions heavily, causing him to make decisions that would not benefit him. Hence the reason David froze up in episode 6 when Takata asked him what he wanted to do with his life.
Just tell me what it is you want.
What I want?
The love he had for Lucy pushed him to put on the cyber skeleton because he wanted to save her, but Lucy never wanted David's life to be the price for her freedom and dreams. It's a pretty tragic and sad story because Lucy was doing everything she could to ensure that David was safe, but in the end, it wasn't enough. Some would say Lucy was the reason David died, and if she never met him, then he would still be alive. I do not believe so, but please let me know what you guys think in the comments. Ultimately, Cyberpunk Edgerunners depicts that love isn't just a feeling, but also actions and sacrifice. Tragedy magnifies love, and the death of someone you love can push you over the edge and cause you to do unspeakable things. But the way you fill the gap of losing a loved one can be very self-destructive as well as productive. But it all comes down to choice, purpose, and perspective.